Hey guys, it's Brick Thunder, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 favorite retail props of all time. Alright, so the Halloween season is now over. Now is the time where I love to look back at audience reaction, see how people like the hallways, the scares, but also, of course, the animatronics. Animatronics are a huge part of my haunt, and audience reaction is really all that matters to me. If one of my favorite props before the season has a bad reaction, you might see me even selling that prop the next year. If the audience doesn't like it, there's really no point in having it. So audience reaction is definitely huge. So after the season, I kind of get all my thoughts together on all the animatronics. And now I have a pretty solid idea of my actual top 10 favorite retail of all time. Based on, of course, my likes. I do really like these animatronics, but also some of the ones that get the best reactions with the audience. So I think we just get straight into the video. We're going to start at 10 and move our way on up to my number one favorite. Here we go. Alright, so how this is going to work is I'm going to show you guys some photos and maybe even videos of these items actually in my haunt, but also just some pictures of the props themselves. And notice I am saying props because not all of these are actually animatronics, some are static. So starting, number 10, we have Reaper's Ride. Reaper's Ride is amazing. This is one that you actually get an entire horse, zombie horse with, but also a Reaper riding it. And it's kind of similar to the Headless Horseman. We have gotten a few of those as well, but it is a unique character. It is not the Headless Horseman. It has some differences. Obviously, it is a Reaper instead. And it's awesome. It's huge. It's a really large prop. And its animation is good. The horse movement is awesome. And overall, it looks really real. And especially at night with lighting and stuff, really cool. And also, it does have a fogging feature. Not one I actually used at the haunt, but you can have it fogged from the mouth. Pretty cool. Now, this thing definitely got some good audience reactions. People loved it. People pointed it out. A lot of people took pictures by it, but mainly because the sign was actually right in front of it, I'm guessing. But the horse definitely looked awesome behind that. I really like the stance that it's in too, how it's kind of up on its hind legs. That's pretty cool. And overall at night, this is definitely one of the more professional looking animatronics of retail. This is one you could definitely see being used at a professional haunt. Alright, at number 9 we have Pneumatic Gramps. So there were 3 pneumatic animatronics released this year, all of them definitely very revolutionary for the retail industry, but Pneumatic Gramps definitely got the best reactions of the 3. And these guys are built very well compared to most. 2 of them are foam-filled latex, which is great. Gramps is not. He has a latex head, but a plastic shell underneath. But the rest of him is actually steel, and he has pneumatic cylinders controlling his movements, solenoids, everything that a normal pneumatic prop would have built into the control box. And overall, these guys are really awesome consumer-grade pneumatics, and they're very easy to use. Great intro to pneumatics for someone who is just learning about them. The motion you can get with pneumatics can be faster. It can be a lot stronger. So really cool stuff once you get into that side of the mechanics of the animatronics. I actually did a full video on why this is such a huge thing for the industry. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out if you're interested more in the pneumatics. But overall, great prop, awesome reactions, and that initial jump it does get some great scares as well. All right, so in 8th place, we have Lethal Lily. Lethal Lily is awesome, and this is actually a good example of what audience reaction does, because this is actually where I had Cold Hate at first, or THD 3000. But the audience reaction to Lily was far better than Cold Hate slash THD. So I moved those, switched those around. Lily is now here. People were absolutely mesmerized by her. I saw people literally just staring at her. Her face motion's awesome. We definitely need more props like this for sure. The blinking, the mouth movement even looks way better than most animatronics. And the servos in the head are great. And overall, everything going on. She's very detailed, even to the point where they actually like start making the bottom of the dress dirty, like she's been walking around in a swamp. Really cool little details like that. And then the whole glowing staff, the frog in the basket, there's just so much going on. And it's literally like Disney quality animation right there. That's definitely a staple piece of a haunt. We had her right in the middle of the witches section because she's just an awesome key piece of it. Also, one thing I want to mention is her phrases are actually awesome. A lot of prop phrases are either cheesy, kind of generic, or just okay. These are actually funny. They make people actually laugh because her speaker quality is awesome, first of all. You can actually hear what she's saying really nicely, and her phrases are great. She's funny. She has some awesome lines there, and she has a lot of them too. She says a lot of stuff before having to loop again. All right, next up, 7th place, we have the 12-foot skeleton. This is a Home Depot classic. This is probably their most popular item for sure for Halloween. This thing is literally everywhere. You see a ton of people with it, which does make it less unique to your haunt, but everyone knows it, everyone loves it. It's huge, it's really nice quality. It is built very, very well. And also, one really good thing about it is, unlike a lot of 12-footers with like the clothing, this thing really doesn't catch much wind. If you have it, I guess, in a very high wind area, you should be a bit careful with it. But I've only ever put one rebar stake in it, and it's been completely fine because it's got ribs that the wind can go through. There's no clothing, like I said, to catch onto any wind, so it's really one of the better 12-foots for that. You won't really see it breaking very easily. And overall, its full blow molded design is awesome, makes it very professional looking. Like if you go to the Trans World Convention or anything like that, you'll see skeletons like this, fully like fiberglass or blow mold that are $10,000, ton of money. So something like this in retail, maybe it's not going to be as good outside, but it's still great. It holds up for sure. And it's the same scale and detail. It's got a full detailed body, which is awesome. The LCD eyes also work really well with this prop. I do like the adapter version better. One of them runs off of batteries to run those LCD eyes. The other one runs with an adapter. I do own both models. Definitely easier to work with that one with the adapter because it can just take a normal 6-volt adapter. The battery one you have to keep replacing, and it does die pretty fast. So as long as it's the adapter one, I do really, really like basically everything about this prop. I also really like how Home Depot added that chest glowing piece. I bought 2 of those for my skellies because that's a really cool addition. I saw a ton of people doing that on Facebook, so good idea to actually put that in the skeleton as a kit that you can buy separately. Really cool. I also really like the versatility of this prop. This thing can be used for any holiday easily, just a little clothing change. Home Depot even sells clothing kits for the 12-foot skeleton. Really cool. And it's overall an awesome versatile prop because it is just that blank skeleton that you can customize or, like I said, put clothing on. All right, in 6th place, we have the 15-foot Phantom. This thing is awesome. This is the tallest retail prop that is on the market currently, and it is amazing. It lights up awesome at night. It looks really good. It's got a very clean look, and it actually gives a really good floating effect. As long as the black part of the base is hidden well enough, or at least just not lit up, it actually gives a really good floating effect, and it's huge to be floating that high in the air. This is definitely a staple piece to my graveyard, and I'm guessing most people's because of the size overall, and the audience reaction to it is great. People definitely take a lot of pictures of it because it looks really impressive at night. And another huge reason why this thing is up on the list so high is because of the quality. This is probably the best made retail animatronic, other than maybe the pneumatics because those are made of steel. For aluminum, this is definitely the best made. The amount of supports is insane. The amount of structure this thing has to actually support it in high winds and stuff like that. I've had this thing out during 30 miles per hour and above, and it's been completely fine. I know some do fall over, but I really haven't seen, I don't think, any snap because of how well they're made. It's really a great prop for quality, and overall it looks really cool. All right, next is the Reaper Band. Now, this actually may surprise people that it's this high on my list, but these guys definitely had one of the best audience reactions I've ever seen in a haunt. People actually gathered around the stage where we had them before they were even on, just to watch them perform, because it's really impressive. These guys are Bluetooth. You can put any song, anything you want into it, which is already really cool. And then the drummer actually beats to it, and then the guitarist actually headbangs to it. And that's an awesome concept. I would love to see more additions to this because it is just a wire connection that you connect and then they can play together. So it'd be really cool to get like a 3rd or a 4th member of the band, like a singer. That would help with like an actual synced jaw. That would be really cool. But just them two alone, it's really an awesome scene. They make an entire scene by themselves. And adding a stage or some lights or anything to them will make a full scene that can be used from anywhere from a home to a pro haunt for sure, because people really love watching these guys. All right, so next up on the list, we have Rattles the Groundbreaker. This thing is awesome. It's a static, but the proportions are incredible. and it looks really professional. Again, bringing back to the Transworld section, this would definitely look good at Transworld, and for sure in a Pro Hunt with minimal customizations. This thing looks very professional. It's also built really well. Although it's just blow mold, it's got a very nice interior actually supporting it. There's been people who have actually sit on the shoulders for photos and stuff, and it's completely fine. I don't even stop them because I know it can hold up. That thing can support a lot of weight. And the head is really nice quality. Everything on it is really nicely put together, and it feels like a very solid piece overall. I wouldn't really be worried about anything breaking on it. And its overall look is great. It's cartoony, but also cool. It's very professional looking, like I said. Even down to the fingers, the way they did the fingers, where it's got like a slightly bent shape. Really cool. Definitely very, very professional look there. Now, the one thing a lot of people don't like is the paint job. I definitely think the ribs could have been done better, but other than that, I think it looks great. The head having minimal paint, I think looks fine. It is a skull. The only thing is it is breaking out of the ground, so it would make sense to have a bit of dirt on it or something, but it's really not a huge deal. And I think the hand paint job is great. It looks really cool. And one of the huge reasons why this thing is so high up on the list is because the audience reaction to this is better than most animatronics in my entire haunt. The amount of photos I saw being taken with this guy, it's pretty incredible. There's a lot of people who wanted their photo taken with him, especially because you can get like an entire family either behind or in front of him, and he's huge enough to just kind of surround them all. So definitely a great, great photo op. All right, next on the list, we have the 9-foot Groundbreaker zombie. So this guy is huge. This is definitely one of the larger scaled overall characters that I own, and it gets a lot of attention because of that. But also the concept and the actual design of this is, again, near perfect. There's really nothing I would really change. It's got the one tombstone in one arm, huge, huge lantern in the other, and the face looks great. It's also got a fully sculpted rib cage and everything, so a lot of detail put into it. It's huge again. Overall, giant proportions of this thing. Definitely one of the largest heads in retail, and one of the better looking zombies, I think, because even though it's cartoony, it's definitely on that amusement park slash pro haunt side of retail. You can definitely, again, see this in that Transworld blow molded fiberglass type section. It really looks like one of those type of animatronics, and I really like that. Definitely looks more professional than a lot of the more like latex or smaller zombies. The movement of this guy is also really cool and nice quality. The motor has shown no sign of wearing down, and I had him running all 4 nights of our haunt and during the show, the Fright Fight filming, and everywhere in between. I actually had him going for cars and people walking by. So it's a really, really nice mechanism. It has not shown any sign of wearing down. I also really like the lights of this guy. This is one of the only props, if not the only prop that I can think of that has a light from the base shining up. We need that to happen more because the lights that are just like, for example, Jack Skellington, the 13-foot one, is just on the bow tie. So it really only just lights up the head. And although that's a key piece, it's really cool when there's lights at the base, because they have this blue light that shines up on the tombstone, so you really don't need any lighting on him because his eyes glow already, so you don't need lighting there. His whole rib cage glows, which looks awesome. The lantern does, and now the tombstone does from the ground light. So some awesome lighting there as well. All right, next up we have Cackles. This guy is awesome. I do like clown props, although the clown theme isn't one of my favorite themes. The props themselves are always really cool, and they definitely get some good reactions because a lot of people are very, very afraid of clowns. And Cackles gets some great, great reactions because he is probably the largest overall animatronic in retail completely. Although it's not the tallest, the proportions, the head is the largest, the hands are huge, and overall the detail on this guy definitely does not disappoint. Even for that size, the amount of detail is definitely very, very good. His quality is really good as well, other than those knees. A lot of people have issues with the knees bending. I did on my first one. I actually had to return it and get a second one because of that. Other than that, the quality is good. It's got the awesome bearings by the head. Mine has shown no wear of the motor at all. It's still working perfectly, and all the lights do too. I really like those lights in the face, those neon lights going around the mouth. And stuff like that. The nose glowing, the eyes glowing, it all looks really cool. Another thing that's not a huge factor, but I'd like to mention is the music is actually really nice. It's definitely a catchy song there, and his phrasing is pretty good too to go along with that. He actually says his name, which is kind of cool. Depends on the person, but I know a lot of people do like when the prop actually mentions the name. Kind of gives it some character, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so now for the final prop and my number one of retail, it's gotta be Mega Wolf. Mega Wolf is awesome. He gets great reactions. Almost every group I saw walk up to him got scared. The only thing is his jump time takes a little while because he starts growling and stuff first, but it usually gets to about the last person or the last few people in the group before going, which actually makes them think it's not going to do anything because by the time they get there, they think it didn't scare the people up ahead, it's not going to scare me, but then it does. And it's a really effective scare because that thing really drops down at you. And that movement for retail is not something I would have ever expected on a prop that's nearly 12 feet tall. It's about 11 feet high, which is an awesome size for something doing this animation. The face also at night and even in the daytime is the scariest, in my opinion, wolf ever in retail. The face looks awesome. It definitely looks like some of the Scare Factory wolves. I'll put an image on the screen of some of those. It reminds me of that a lot. And those are professional grades, so that's really cool to see. The face sculpt and the hair actually there, unlike some of the other werewolves where it's just like plastic sculpted hair. This thing is a full haired werewolf. You can see the hair coming through the shirt and even like at the legs and stuff. And then of course that head, which looks awesome. The quality of this thing is great as well. It's mainly gravity fed. There is a little spring, but I believe that spring was actually to help pull it back. So there's really not much actually pushing it forward. So not much that's going to break. And the rest of him is built really well too. He has even 2 tethers in the back to hold him back for when he lunges. And then the metal is really nice quality, lots of reinforced welds, and the mechanism is built really nicely. My drop-down Scarecrow actually had some issues, and that uses the same falling mech that the Mega Wolf does, and I had to fix multiple things in there. So now I know that mechanism really well, and most of the issues that can happen with that thing are very, very easily fixable. So if something happens, it may be that something actually got stuck. I had some creepy cloth stuck in there. That was one of the issues. One of the gears came out of place a bit. That was another issue, and somehow, probably from force or something, the relay was actually past the point that triggers the relay, so I just had to adjust that as well. There's a few little things there, but all of them were very simple fixes. You can do it very easily. Simple screwdriver can open it up, so even if something breaks on this prop, it should be pretty easily fixable. His audio is also really good. Nice growling sounds. I do like that kind of building tension sound before he jumps as well. Really cool audio. All right, but yeah, there it was, my top 10 retail props of all time. Let me know if you guys want to see a professional one as well. I probably wouldn't own all of those. These ones on the list, I do own all of them, so audience reaction was able to help, but definitely some really, really amazing props in retail. And you may notice a lot of these are newer props, and that is because I really think we are improving in the retail industry. There's some props that are literally comparable to pro now. We have the pneumatics, we have large animatronics that are moving, like Mega Wolf, and we have the fully blow molded pieces like Rattles, the 12-foot skeleton. Really cool to see. Not something we saw like even a few years ago. So definitely lots of huge improvements in the industry. Definitely excited to see what we have coming next year. But yeah, there it was. Definitely feel free to leave your top 10 down in the comments for sure. I'd love to read through all those, and I'd definitely love to see how the audience has reacted to some of your animatronics. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.